The Black Order has come to order here in Marvel Snap, and Black Swan is the brand new Season Pass card. Should you get her? The quick answer is yes, but not because she's a good card, just because it's the Season Pass and it's the best deal in the game. There's always great resources in the Season Pass. There's always good card backs. You get some extra rewards along the way, different variants, so it's going to be worth it in some way, shape, or form. But the bigger question remains, are you actually getting a decent Series 5 card early? In my opinion, I think so. It's gonna bring out some unique little niche nuances into a couple of decks. So I've got 5 decks for you, and if you really enjoy this type of content, please like, subscribe, comment, let me know your favorite. Let's go take a look. First and foremost, what is Black Swan? Okay, Black Swan is a 2/3 with the on-reveal ability of until the next turn, your 1-cost cards cost 0. So anything that has any kind of mana reduction, cost reduction in any way, shape, or form in this game is really a pretty strong card in some capacity. But in this case, it's 1-cost cards, which we don't see a lot of reductions for, as other mechanics like Sarah get limited and they say minimum 1. This kind of overrides that ability simultaneously. Now, this isn't going to say that you could have your, let's say, your stature that's been reduced, or your Miles Morales that's been reduced, or death, etc. Any card that's been reduced down to 1 card would not cost 0, but your base cost of 1, those cards will count. How can we take advantage of this? Looking at a couple of the decks that have been pretty popular over the last few weeks, I dove into the Tribunal variation of Human Torch, and I said, well, Black Swan's only reducing 2 of those cards. Is that worth it? This is a Phoenix Force backup play, but what Black Swan is going to do for just the 2 little cards in here is provide that just-in-case clause if you don't pull the combination early enough. You can later on go into that Black Swan combo to put down very quickly the Human Torch, Ghost Spider, and even Doctor Strange all on the same turn to get a very fast ramp up on turn 3 or 4 if need may be. We could see Black Swan making a little bit of an appearance, but I know there can be bigger splashes in other places. Thanos is a perfect example of this. He's got the stones, so the stones have to have value. They cannot be destroyed. This is not a Killmonger deck in any way. This is protect them. You see Kyera, and Lockjaw is still a crazy strong mechanic, but simultaneously, there's only so many stones that you can toss into Lockjaw to cheat out some of the other bigger cards like Blob, Vision, Devil Dinosaur, etc. What Black Swan's going to allow us to do is not only play multiple cards on the final turn, if need may be for turn 5 into 6, and boost up the card draws that you get for your Devil Dinosaur if that gets ramped out a little earlier. The Black Swan has that flexibility play of understanding how Lockjaw is going to work. So you're going to put down 1 in there for free, but you could go ahead and feel comfortable using your Soul Stone on another lane. One of the downsides to the Thanos deck with Lockjaw has been trying to get those stones out with a curve in case if something bad happens, like you don't have a good turn 5. This gives us another option where now we can play into it with the Black Swan on 4, Devil Dino plus stones on 5, and that's a lot stronger. So yes, you are going to draw more and it may hurt your blob, but that might be just a more consistent backup plan because you're going to have more flexibility of tossing stones into Lockjaw while putting down other cards on turns 3, 4, and 5. I expect this deck to do very well. Don't be surprised to see some variation of this on ladder. Lots of cards going down all at one time also means Hitmonkey can have a little bit of fun. I'm going back to the old synergy that I found forever ago of Invisible Woman and Hitmonkey, and we're gonna have a little bit more fun with it because now behind that Hitmonkey going into turn 5 and 6, that Hitmonkey is gonna have crazy amounts of resources to work with because you can bounce those cards back for more and more and more resource later on. I love this ability also with Absorbing Man potentially being hidden behind because he has a lot of potential, whether it be the Beast mechanic to bounce Beast back is a big deal, knowing that you have a Black Swan in hand, which will give you those free cards anyway. Hide your Hitmonkey, have the Absorbing Man even be hidden behind the Invisible Woman, and play Hitmonkey on 6, so Absorbing Man copies it, and you've got all those monkey guns coming out on turn 6. There's a lot of flexibility with the bounce archetype, so this is just one variation, and I think Invisible Woman has a home with the Black Swan decks because it gives you that time delay play in a slightly different way. So I like how Black Swan's gonna synergize here, because sometimes you get the cards for 0 with Beast, sometimes you don't. Black Swan's a cheaper variation to get those 1 costs down. I even feel comfortable playing Martyr here, because I think you're gonna have a lot of cards down on the battlefield consistently, so I think her movements are gonna be very reduced. I expect this version of Bounce also to do very well, but there are other ways that you can play this. If you wanted to go with a little more of a contemporary style Bounce, you have your Iron Man variations in here as well, and Grandmaster Hawkeye is a fantastic combination always. This leads into the Bast versions where we have all of that extra power. We have the hoods and the demons coming on down. Nico Minoru even getting a couple of double ups here. Black Swan has a ton of positive targets here that we should be able to more than capitalize a couple of times on. Ramping up that Hawkeye several times is going to be very easy. Ramping those Forge bonuses into other cards is going to be easy. Hitmonkey is just his own play, and it could be out of sequence. You could play into a Black Swan on 3 even, with all of those cards going down for Hitmonkey on 4, Iron Man 5, and then reinforcement plays with like Grandmaster or even Falcon at the last second could be beneficial if you have just your hood down. There's a lot that these decks can now do, because Beast is not the only card that can get a 1 cost down to 0 cost. I really like the idea of Bounce coming back during this season, so be ready to also see those Sandman decks simultaneously, because you're probably going to see a lot of counters. Speeding back into the move area for a second, I wanted to kind of really hone in the idea of what I believe a move deck should be, which is small cards going all around the battlefield and progressively ramping. So Black Swan now has 4 targets versus the previous Tribunal version, because now we can play out our Forge with different timing. We can play our Iron Fist into Human Torch. Just imagine how that full piece could potentially roll out there with either Forge, Human Torch, Ghost Spider, or throw Iron Fist into the mix at the last second, then bounce it all back with Falcon and Beast. Do it again. You've got even Hercules here, and I am gonna be a little bit more cautious. I'm gonna protect it with Kyera. Lots of reactivations with Grandmaster as well is gonna be really fantastic. So you're looking to build into a side lane, then have your Beast bounce it, rebuild into a middle lane, and move your Grandmastering Beast over into the middle lane and bounce it again. There's gonna be a lot of ramping that can happen from these style of decks. Hercules is in here just as a test, but I would not be surprised if we replaced him out for something maybe like a Cloak for extra movement, or a Craven even, just in case. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna give Herc a chance here. He deserves a chance to go the distance. Lastly is a deck that I'm also featuring in the Super Giant video, the other Series 5 card that's releasing on the same day. This is just what I'm calling Super Swan Zoo. This gives the flexibility of being able to play out cards behind Supergiant and have Supergiant be a really, really stellar defensive play just in case on turn 4. And I'm even gonna give Strong Guy a chance here, because originally I had other variations. I was debating about maybe put Onslaught down, but I think I need the power in some way, shape, or form. And I thought that maybe, just maybe, Strong Guy has a chance, because we have a lot of under curve cards. We have a Sunspot in here as well for the same reason, because of all those drops that come from Black Swan. That's going to be free mana that will then ramp the Sunspot. So Sunspot and Ant-Man are your biggest cards that you're looking for earlier on, and then later you can reinforce it with other pieces. Mystique is in here as a Dazzler duplicate, as well as Khazar and Blue Marvel, but I think collectively between all of the 1-drops that are going to drop on down and just a simple buff from Khazar and Blue Marvel, which can max out to anywhere from 5 to 8 per lane all by themselves with ongoing bonuses, I think that might be enough to allow Strong Guy as a 3/9 to be reinforced, and even Mystique could essentially turn into a 3/6, or take the Dazzler ability and also become a 3/6 that way as well. These are pretty good stats for a Zoo deck. This actually has a little promise to it. All of the deck codes that you've seen today are available right down there at untap.gg in the description below. So go ahead and take the deck codes, try out the decks. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, because we have 2 brand new cards to test this week. And if you want to know more about Supergiant, take a look at the video that's following just this. I appreciate all of the support. Thank you so much for enjoying this video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.